Yo! Thank you for 500 subscribers. Thank you to anyone watching and wants to continue watching. I'll keep making videos. I've had a lot of fun making these videos and I'll continue to make them for anyone that's enjoying them and for myself. But moving forward, okay, so I had already made a 120Hz video showing you guys that my 120Hz wasn't working on my monitor with my PS5 on Call of Duty. But I have a theory. There's a chance that it could be the game you're playing. And the only game I had to test it out on was Call of Duty. It's the only game that I had that ran 120Hz. There is a chance that it could depend on the game you're playing, whether it works or not. So what I'm about to do is plug everything in. I downloaded Rainbow Six Siege, which got an update this week to support 120Hz. So we're gonna go ahead and try it to see if there's anything different that we can do, following the same steps to get 120Hz to work, FreeSync off, all that good stuff. And then we're gonna go in the game and see if we can set the game to 120Hz. I don't regularly play Rainbow Six Siege. This is just gonna be for the sake of the video and us trying to get the game to work at 120Hz to see if it's a game-based issue. Maybe it's certain games won't let you do it, and maybe some other games are easier at letting you do it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and open the game and try it out. I don't by any means play this game religiously or am good at the game at all. I play it occasionally and I play it on PC, so this is just a test to see if 120Hz works on this game on the PS5. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into settings. We're gonna go to video. And the first option up here that you can see is VSync on. And we're gonna go ahead and turn that off because that is something that a lot of people have been suggesting to do with your monitor. I tried turning VSync off on my monitor or FreeSync off on my monitor, and Call of Duty still didn't run at 120Hz. It didn't even give me the option to set it. This actually lets me turn this off, turn VSync off. It actually lets me select it. So we're gonna hit square and prioritize performance. Real quickly before I open the game up again, I am here in my monitor settings, and my monitor is set to FPS mode and FreeSync is off on my monitor. I went into the game settings already and turned off VSync and also set the game to prioritize performance, and the PlayStation's already set to prioritize performance as well. Over on save data and game presets, I already have my preference set to performance mode. This should theoretically work now. I have turned off FreeSync both in the game and on my monitor. I have performance mode set in game and in the PS5 settings, and we are plugged into a 2.0 port in the back of this monitor, and that is supposed to support 120Hz. So let's open the game back up and see. I just hit settings and see if it works. Hey buddy. Okay, so I'm back in the game settings, and the interesting thing about this game is that Call of Duty doesn't even let you select the 120Hz mode. It grays it out and it just doesn't let you pick it, and that's what it did for me. In this game, you're actually able to pick VSync on or off and prioritize performance or resolution, and it's not grayed out or anything, so you would think it would just work. Even while setting these up, like VSync is off, performance is on, all of that is applied. But when you go into a match, it still doesn't register as 120Hz, even with the video settings set to what they're supposed to be able to get the 120Hz and plugged into the right port on the monitor and everything. If we go to settings on the PS5, it still shows, if you go to screen and sound, video output, video information, it still shows them at 1920 by 1080 at 60Hz, even when the game lets me select 120Hz performance mode and all of the right settings to be able to get the game to work. The game basically lets you set your preference to performance mode, but it doesn't actually apply it to the game. When you have a 120Hz game open and you go to this menu screen with the game open, it's supposed to show you that you're at the 120Hz, and when you don't have the game open, it just says you're at 60Hz in the main menu. But right now we have the game open and we're in the menu, we're in the settings, and it doesn't show you that we're at 120Hz. And I'm in the game, all settings are what they're supposed to be, and we're still not getting the 120Hz. So it's still not detecting it, even with all possible settings turned on, even in the game. Even if, this is like saying if Call of Duty lets me enable 120Hz and it's not grayed out and it just still doesn't work. This game lets you set your preference to 120Hz lets you set performance mode, lets you turn off VSync, and it still doesn't work. What I wanted to test was if 120 Hz is determined by a game-to-game basis, if it lets you control the settings depending on the game, or if it just forces every game into knowing what kind of settings you're able to achieve. Rainbow Six lets you select the proper settings to run the game at 120 Hz, even if your display is not capable of it, or at least it lets you turn off VSync and turn on performance mode, which should allow you to play at 120 Hz if my FreeSync is off on my monitor, and if my monitor supports the 120 and I have all the right PS5 settings. It lets you select everything, it just doesn't work. And then Call of Duty, it doesn't let you select the 120 Hz option, it doesn't let you enable it, it grays it out. So it's going to be up to the game whether it lets you even select the setting. And it would be kind of nice if games just did like what Call of Duty does and just tells you, hey, you can't run your game at the 120 Hz, because now we have a game like Rainbow Six lets you select it and you don't even, people are going to think they're running the game at 120 Hz. In reality, they're not. If you go into the settings of your PS5 while you have Call of Duty open on a working monitor with the 120 Hz, it shows you that you're at 120 Hz when you go to that video output information. When I go to video output information on Rainbow Six and I have all the right 120 Hz settings, it says that I'm at 60 Hz. So some people will select all the right settings and still be running at 60 Hz. That pretty much debunks the theory if the 120 Hz depends on the game. The settings, I guess, depend on the game, whether you can select it or not. The actual part of being able to run it will still go hand in hand with the game, the monitor, and the PS5, and all the settings. It all goes hand in hand, and it's not going to be just up to that game to let you run the game at 120 Hz. The settings will depend on the game. The actual being able to output it will depend on the screen that you're using, and that pretty much wraps up what I was trying to figure out. As games that support 120 Hz keep coming out, I will come back and keep trying it to see if it works, to see if it really is just a game issue or if it's a PS5 and monitor issue ultimately. But I mean, it's worth a try. You never know, it might work, it might not. We're all still waiting for an update that allows our 120 Hz capable monitors of running these games at the proper settings, because right now, even though this monitor is capable of 120 Hz and higher, it allows us to turn off FreeSync, and we're still not able to get the setting to even be detected in the PS5 settings. That's going to be it for this video. That is just something that I wanted to try out to see if it was the game or not, and I'll just keep trying things like this to see if certain things work and certain things don't. But that was just me trying to test it for myself. If you guys want to try it out as well on your monitors, go ahead. You might have a different result. I know a lot of people are having different results depending on what monitor they're using, so it's really going to come down to that, your monitor and the PS5. That's it. But I'll see you guys on the next video.